Hello, my name is Alfie Smith, and today I'm going to be teaching you open D tuning for slide guitar. Uh, First things first, I'm playing an acoustic, um, and currently I'm in standard tuning. What we're going to be doing is dropping the strings down to open D. Open D is making your standard guitar tune to an open chord. So what you're going to be doing is going from the standard. So you take the low E and you make it a D. I always find it helpful to play the other D to get the E down to D. So you find that interval quickly. Right? So that's two Ds. Right? So it goes D, A, D, and then your G string goes down to F sharp. Now your B string goes down to A. And then your high E string goes down to D. So from the low to high, it goes D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. Here's a little tip. When you change all your strings at once, go back and check them again, because the strings will drift a bit when you lower them all like that. And another thing is always tune up to a note. So go past the note and go to the note. Because when you do that, your gear is engaged at the machine head. So it's going the right way. If you go down to a note, sometimes your string will slip. And you don't want that to happen, because then your guitar's out of tune. And another thing is, if your guitar seems slightly out when you're starting the song, please take the time to stop and make sure it works. All right, so we're in open D now. So that's D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. So that's dad fad is short form. But you have to remember the F is a sharp. So dad fad. I recommend using medium gauge strings if you're going to be doing this on an acoustic. And if you're going to do it on electric, I would generally tune up. I would go to open E tuning, which if you do a Google search, it'll show you. But everything I teach you in open D is transferable to open E, because it's the same shapes. It'll be the same intervals between the strings, and every trick you learn here is transferable to open E. All right, the next thing. There are a lot of different types of slides you can use. I personally like glass the best. This is a glass bottleneck off of a wine bottle. There's a guy in the States who makes these, and he polishes it with fire, so it gets nice and rounded and it's nice and smooth and takes out the seam. That's my preference. But you can play slide with anything. The slide I learned on is literally, I don't know if you can see that, is a socket wrench. And the thing with socket wrenches, you get a deep wall socket. You can find one that fits your finger perfectly, because they come in different sizes. A friend of mine chopped off the tip of it to get rid of some of the weight, but this makes a great slide too. And it's got a different tone than the glass. I find the glass has a nice, especially if it's nice thick-walled glass, it has a thicker tone. It doesn't sound as rattly. It sounds like the the glass grabs the strings a little bit better. But yeah, so, and you can go to any store and get, any guitar store will have a cheaper slide, and those are fine too, and they're great for learning. But if you get more serious about it, you can start investigating different materials and find which ones works best for you. Even this one that's the most expensive one that I have on eBay is like $23 American. As far as guitar investments, it's not a lot. And if you take care of them, they come in a nice little case that's protected. Like this slide I've been sliding with for, I don't know, 15, 16 years. I've broken one glass slide like this, and I'm lucky I've only broke one. But it, you know, once you get used to them, they're like, oh, I don't want to break that one, so you have to be careful. And generally, if I'm playing on cement, I make sure I use a metal one, because if you play on cement, your glass slide drops, it's gone. If you're playing on hardwood or carpet, you're probably fine, you know. Sorry to go off into that, but that's, you know, as a guitar player, that's what you worry about. You worry about, you know, losing your favorite tool. All right, so enough about that. I also use finger picks. I use Acri finger picks. They're made in Canada, but because of weird distribution things, you actually have to buy them in the States. Any finger pick will do. Once you get more serious, look into Acri. They go a little farther up. Sorry, I don't mean to give any bad signs. They go a little farther up on your fingertip, and they don't fly off as easily. All right, so when you play slide, the most important thing, I assume that we all know how to play guitar a little bit, and we know a little bit of finger picking. So I'll try to make it as simple as possible, but I'm going to assume that you know something, because it's kind of hard to start with slide. Slide shouldn't be your first style of guitar. So let's just assume we know how to finger pick. All right, so the most important frets, and it's kind of nice because they're side dot markers. And the most important frets you're going to use is open, 3, 5, 7, and 12. Those are going to be most useful positions for playing slide. Occasionally you'll use the 10th fret, but in the songs, I'm going to try to teach you 2 songs today. And by the way, please stop at any one point and go back if you need to review anything. That's the beauty of video, is you can watch over and over again and stop and start. I don't expect everyone to get it all at once. I'd like to give as much information as I can, and that way you can stop and start and pick it up and go farther, hopefully. So like I said, 3, 5, 7, and 12. I might make an error because I also speak in, I don't know much music theory at all, but the one thing I do know is the Nashville number system. And as far as the Nashville number system, you should look into that. It helps you speak with other musicians. So occasionally I might say the wrong number, because the Nashville number system is talking about where the note occurs in the scale. So if you were talking in the Nashville number system, you have 1 is your open, 3 is your third, your 5th fret is now your 4th, and your 7th fret is your 5th. So that's your 1, 4, and 5 in a chord. So that means it's D, G, and A. So if you just do, that's D, that's G, and that's A. And those 3 chords will pretty much take you through most songs in the blues, and a lot of country songs too. So that's the very basics, and that's where you're going to be. So 1, and then you go to the 5th fret, which is your 4th chord. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just fretting straight across. And then you go to your 7th fret, which is your 5th chord, which is your A, and you just fret straight across. But what we're going to do is we're going to try it with slide now. So open, and then then slide up to the 5th fret, which is your 4 chord, and then slide it up to the 7th fret, which is your 5th chord. And then we're going to go up to the 12th, which is also the same as 1. So the 12th fret is going back to the 1. All right, so those are the most important positions, plus the 3rd for melody. Sorry, I threw that out. So you get a lot of, when you're playing the 1, you play a lot of the melody notes off the 3rd fret. I will demonstrate to you just what I'm going to